Hare Krishna, welcome everyone to our Srimad Bhagavatam overview class. We'll begin with our prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी नितिनामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधार श्रवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone to our Srimad Bhagavatam overview class. We are discussing from the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and today we'll be discussing the last chapter of the Vrindavan pastimes of the Lord, and this is the most heart-wrenching chapter of Krishna departing from Vrindavan to go to Mathura. So we have discussed so far how Kamsa he sent Akrura to bring Krishna and Balram, and Akrura, as he departed on the way, he was remembering how Krishna would reciprocate with him. He would embrace him, touch his head, and then he would take him. Krishna would take Akrura to his home, and Balram also will give all nice reception. And in this way, he entered Brindavan. When he saw the footprints of Krishna, he became completely absorbed in ecstasy. And then he actually saw Krishna and Balram. And then Balram and Krishna they welcomed Akrura and brought him to Nanda Bhavan, where he was given nice place to sit and nice food. Nanda Maharaj he asked about the welfare of Akrura. That was the end of the last chapter. And in the 39th chapter, which is entitled Akrura's Vision. So Shukdev Goswami continues that Akrura, when he got such wonderful reception from Krishna and Balram and Nanda Maharaj, he felt as if all his desires, whatever he contemplated, they were fulfilled. So somebody may ask, but why did Akrura only desire to see Krishna and touch Krishna? Why he did not desire Brahman liberation, merging into Brahman Sayujya Mukti? Because that is, even that is the greatest treasure of the yogis and impersonalists. So Shukdev Goswami continues that for a person who has achieved the devotional service to the Lord, nothing is unattainable. Kim alabhyam bhagavati prasanne shri niketane tathapi tatpararajam nahi vanchanti kinchana. Kim alabhyam bhagavati. What is unattainable for a person who has pleased the Supreme Lord, Sri Niketane, who is the abode of the Lakshmi, on whose chest Lakshmi is residing, who is the shelter of Lakshmi. Tadhapi Tatpararajan, and those who are dedicated to his devotional service, Tatpara, Nahi vanchanti kinchana. They do not want anything. So although everything is attainable by devotional service, the devotees, they don't want anything. Salokya sarishti samipya sarupya aikattam apyuta diyamanam na grihnanti vinamat sevanam jana. It is described in the third canto. Kapila is telling that my devotees, they are not interested in any of the five types of liberation. They don't want to have the opulence of same bodily features. They don't want to reside in the same planet. They don't want the same opulences. You know, they don't want the same salokya, sarishti, samipya. They don't want to be near the Lord. If vina mat sevanam jana, if there is no service. So devotee is only interested in service. And if anybody wants other results by practicing devotional service, will he get? Yes. Yat karmabhir, yat tapasa, jnana vairagyashayat, योगेन दान धर्मेण श्रेयोभिरितरैरपि सर्वं मद्भक्ति योगेन मद्भक्तो लभते अंजसा स्वर्ग अपवर्ग मद्धाम कथंचित् यदि वांछति. So whatever a devotee wants by the process of karma, by the process of tapasya, jnana, vairagya, dana, dharma, shreyobhiritarair, anything else, devotee attains everything by the practice of devotional service. He wants swarga, okay, he'll get swarga. He wants liberation, he'll get liberation. If he wants to come to my abode, he'll come to my abode. Nahi vanchanti kinchana, but my devotee does not want anything. He is just satisfied with serving me without any ulterior motives. That is called anya abhilashita shunyam ahetuki apratihata. So that is what we are trying to achieve by this process of devotional service. To serve the Lord without any ulterior motives. And at present, we may have so many motives, regarding our uh, welfare, regarding our welfare of the near and dear ones. But if a devotee reaches a level of pure devotion, he realizes that, oh, Krishna will naturally give whatever is needful. So therefore, he is just satisfied with serving Krishna. So therefore, Akrura, he did not ask anything else. He did not desire anything else. And then after Krishna took prasad he took his meal in the evening. He went and met Akrura. He asked about the various things which are happening in Mathura. He asked about all the plans of Kamsa. And the Supreme Lord, he said, my dear uncle Akrura, was your trip comfortable? And he asked, are our relatives happy? Are they faring well? And then Krishna asked, and he asked, are they in good health? And Krishna asked, if Akrura was free from disease, why he asked about that? He reveals the meaning in the next verse. In the fifth verse, he says, as long as the disease of our dynasty Kamsa is there, what is the use of asking for the welfare of others? The same thing actually Nanda Maharaj also told to Akrura. If Kamsa is there, then what is the need to ask about the welfare? Because you are living like a sheep under the care of a butcher. So therefore, Krishna said, just see, how much suffering I have caused to my parents. They are offenseless. Because of me, they suffered so much. My mother had to see the death of 6 sons, and they themselves were imprisoned. They had to undergo such, hardships while being in the prison, being shackled by the chains. So Krishna is just, lamenting. And then he said, by good fortune now today we are able to see you. Our desire is fulfilled today. So he says, "Oh, uncle, therefore please tell me why you have come." Actually, Krishna is saying that I have desired to see you for a long time. Why? Because after seeing you and getting a good reason for fighting, you know, I will go to Mathura. Then only I can go to Mathura and kill Kamsa. And he tells that, Jiva Goswami tells that it is only possible if somebody comes from Mathura and invites me to Mathura. And then only I'll be able to take permission from my parents. Because although I have my parents in Mathura also, but I love my parents in Brindavan more. I love my mother and father here more than my mother and father in Mathura. So therefore, I need to take their permission. And to take permission, I should have some valid reason. Because I want to come and I want to kill Kamsa. He has done so many offenses. So therefore, I was waiting. I was desiring to see you. And then he says, therefore, O Akrura, now you have come. Now my desires will be fulfilled. Then Shukdev Goswami continues. Akrura, he told all the plans of Kamsa, how he was planning to kill him, kill Vasudeva, Devaki, and then Ugrasen and all the dynasty. So Akrura told everything. And then Akrura, he relayed the message which Kamsa had given for Krishna. He described what were the real intentions of Kamsa. And he also told that, you know what, why this happened? Because Narad Muni informed him. Narad Muni told that you are son of Devaki, and that's why Kamsa became so very angry. So, Jiva Goswami writes about Harivamsha, describing in detail the whole message which was given by Akrura. So he says, actually, the condition of Vasudeva, he is in such pain. He is aged, he is practically dried up, he is limping, he is imprisoned, he is almost like dead. And Devaki is always crying, lamenting because of the pain of separation from her son. She has lost her effulgence. She's like a calf who has lost her, she's like a cow who has lost her calf. And therefore, she's really suffering. And oh Krishna, you subdued Kaliya. You have subdued such great demons like Putana, Aghasur, Trinavart. And therefore now you please go and deliver your parents from the clutches of Kamsa. So when Krishna and Balram, they heard the plans of Kamsa, they laughed. They had a good laugh. And because they knew that Kamsa cannot do anything to us. So they told everything to Nanda Maharaj, that how Kamsa is calling them to attend a festival. So Nanda Maharaj, just like when Krishna, he proposed for Govardhan Puja, Nanda Maharaj was little surprised, but because Krishna had the desire, so Nanda Maharaj agreed. So now also, because Krishna expressed his desire that he wants to go to Mathura, so Nanda Maharaj agreed. Immediately he issued orders all over Vrindavan. He said, go and collect all the available milk products, collect all the fine gifts for King Kamsa, and let's go tomorrow. We will go to Mathura and we will attend a great sacrifice which is arranged there. And actually, the residents of all outside villages, they are also coming. So therefore, please don't have any fear. So Jiva Goswami says that actually when Krishna proposed, nobody objected. Everybody was, eager to fulfill the orders of Krishna because everybody wanted to please Krishna. And then when the young gopis, they heard this news that Akrura has come and he is taking Krishna and Balram to the Mathura, they all were surprised, shocked, they were extremely distressed. And then Shukadeva Goswami describes in 5 verses the pain, the anguish of the gopis. So different gopis are expressing their distress in various ways. A gopi named Bhadra, she felt such pain in her heart because of the heavy breathing. She became pale, her face turned pale. There was other gopi like Shamala. She was so very shocked that just by hearing the news that Krishna is going, she lost her effulgence, her dress loosened, her hairs and bracelets and braids became loose. Then another gopi named Chandravali. What happened to her? Chandravali, as soon as she heard that now Krishna is about to leave, she lost all her sensory activities. She was completely stunned. She became absorbed in meditation on Krishna. She lost all the awareness of the outside world and she was completely absorbed. And that was the situation of many gopis like Chandravali. Shukdev Goswami says actually they were on the level of the great sages who had attained self realization. So, externally speaking, these gopis may be ordinary cowherd girls, but they were much more, they were the highest, they are the epitome of transcendental realization, you know and the ecstasies of separation which these gopis are manifesting, that is unparalleled. you know and uh, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes that there was another gopi, as soon as she heard that Krishna is going, she remembered all the pastimes of Krishna, whatever you know time they had spent with Krishna. She remembered the charming words, loving, affectionate smiles and glances of Krishna, and all these aggrieved the heart of this gopi, and that gopi was Srimati Radharani. Practically, just by remembering, she fainted. Simply by remembering all the wonderful pastimes, wonderful reciprocations which Krishna had with her, Srimati Radharani just fainted. She became bewildered on remembering that, oh, now Krishna is going. The word used is Shauri. She remembered Shauri. So Shauri is used for Krishna. Why the word Shauri is used? Because she is remembering what wonderful, astonishing activities and pastimes Krishna performed in Vrindavan. She remembered the enchanting words and smiles of Krishna. Naparayeham nirvadya samyujam susadu krityam vivudhayushapi vaha. Yama bhajan durjar geha shrinkhala samvrishya tat pratiyata sadhuna. Naparayeham, Krishna said, I cannot repay you, just be satisfied with your devotional service. So Srimati Radharani, she was remembering all these words and smiles and loving relations, exchanges with Krishna. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes that some gopis, they were Nitya Siddha gopis, and these gopis, just by hearing that Krishna is about to leave, they practically became, you know, pale and fainted. They were Nitya Siddha. Other devotees, other gopis who were sadhana siddha, they understood, okay, Krishna is going. And then after some time, they started exhibiting symptoms of separation. Other gopis, they became frightened. And they started recalling all the moments of reciprocation which Krishna had. They remembered their loving, smiling glances, heroic deeds, their Krishna's beautiful smile, his joking words, his gait, regal gait, like an elephant. And in this way, all the gopis, they gathered in various groups and they started discussing about Krishna. And then what followed is a Viraha Gita, the song of separation. And now, because they were about to be separated from Krishna, they started searching for another reason why this is happening to us. So, ultimately, who was the culprit? The supreme devotees is they are blaming the supreme creator. They started blaming the creator, Brahmaji, for their distress. Sorry. They started blaming Brahma for their distress. The gopis said, "Oh Providence, you have no mercy. You are merciless. You are so cruel. You bring embodied living entities together and you bind them in the bond of friendship and love, allow them and you allow them to come together, but before their desires are fulfilled, you take them away. You are like all these whimsical play you are playing, it is like a child's play." So they are blaming creator, like you are like a child. Astonishingly, interestingly, you know when here in the 8th canto, when this Kritadyuti, Chitraketu Maharaja's the only son, Harshashoka, he died. Actually, Kritadyuti is also lamenting in the same way. Aho Vidhata, Twamativa Balisho, O Vidhata, O Creator, you are like a child. How can a son die in front of his father? And here we see that the gopis are also lamenting in the same way. Oh, foolish creator, you are like a child. What is the difference? There's a huge difference. There, Kritadyuti was just lamenting for her son because she was attached to her son and on the bodily platform. And because later when Narad Muni and Angira Rishi they enlightened and the child spoke, Kritadyuti became pacified. But here we'll see how we know that gopis they could never be pacified. We hear in Chaitanya Charitamrit, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the mood of Srimati Radharani, in Rath Yatra, she's describing all the feelings of Brajvasis. So Radharani, when and all the Brajvasis, when they go to Kurukshetra to meet Krishna, and that's how the whole Rath Yatra pastime happened. So all the gopis and Radharani, they went and met Krishna. Krishna was in the form of a royal prince, having a crown, having a armor, and such wonderful, costly ornaments he was wearing. And the gopis, they were not used to see Krishna in this form. They were, more interested in seeing the Vrindavan Krishna. Barha Pidam Natavaravapu Karnayo Karnikaram Vibhradvasa Kanakakapishaha Vaijayantim Chamalam Randhran Venum Madhara Sudaya Purayan Gopa Brinde Brindaranyam Sapadaramanam Pravishad Gita Kirti. They are used to see Krishna in this form, having a peacock feather on his head, dressed like a dramatic dancer, wearing a beautiful yellow garment, having the garland of forest flowers. And here they were seeing Krishna as a royal prince. They could not relate with Krishna. Radharani goes and asks Krishna, Brindavan Govardhan Jamuna Pulinvan se sab rasadik leela. ब्रज जनेर ब्रज जन माता पिता बंधु गण बड़ चित्र केमन पसरीला. How can you forget Brindavan? where we performed so many pastimes. Even if you forgot Vrindavan, how can you forget Govardhan? How can you forget Yamuna? How can you forget all the various pastime places of the Vrindavan? We performed, say, Kunjera, Sadik, Leela. Okay, even if you forgot all these places, how can you forget Brajvasis? Brajajanera, Brajajan. Are, even if you forgot Brajvasis, how can you forget your mother? How can you forget your father? Bada Chitra came on Apasharila. Are, it is very astonishing that you forgot all of them. नागणी आपणार दुख देखी ब्रजेश्वरी मुख ब्रज जनेर हृदय बिदरे कीबा मार ब्रजवासी कीबा जियाओ ब्रजयासी केने जियाओ दुख सही बारे. So she's saying, I am not talking about my pain. Just see the face of Yashoda. Dekhi Brajeshwari Mukh. Looking at the face of Yashoda, all the Brajavasis, they lament. Their hearts shatter. Brajajanera Hridaye Bidare. Kiba Mar Brajavasi. Either you kill them or you come back to Vrindavan. Why are you making us live just to suffer? Kene Jiao Dukha Sahibare. So the gopis, they were constantly in separation from Krishna. In the material world, out of sight, out of mind. But in spiritual world, actual love, out of sight increases the eagerness to see the beloved. That is what the gopis were experiencing throughout their life. They had only association for 11 years, that's all. At the age of 11 years, Krishna departed from Vrindavan. And for the rest of the whole life, Krishna was there on this planet for 125 years. They did not meet Krishna, but their love did not decrease. Every day they would be remembering Krishna every moment. So all these gopis, they are blaming Creator. You know, why you are like a child. You know, how can you do this? So Brahmaji may say, you should not compare me to a inexperienced boy. You know, fearing such response from Brahmaji, gopis, they put some more blames on Brahma. They say, gopis are saying, you are giving sorrow to the souls of this world. You know why? Because remembering the beautiful face of Mukunda, just beholding the beautiful face of Mukunda eradicates all the misery, and now you are taking that form away from our eyes. You're making that face invisible from in front of our eyes. This is not good behavior at your part. Brahma may say, but Are Akrura is taking him to Mathura, not me. So the gopis they say, Oh Brahma, you have come here with the name Akrura, but you are actually Krura. You are cruel. You have come in the form of Akrura. And you know what you are doing? You are taking away our eyes. You are taking away our eyes. You gave our eyes once, and now you are taking them away. Because when Madhusudan is gone, because we are used to see the most beautiful form in the entire creation, Lord Madhusudan, what will be the use of our eyes? Brahmaji may say, but I am taking, even if I am taking Krishna, but I have not done anything to your eyes. Gopis say, you are making us blind, you know. Our eyes will become blind without Krishna. What is the purpose of eyes if Krishna is not there? You know, what is the purpose? Because we have seen the pinnacle of beauty in the form of Krishna, and what is the use of seeing any other things? That's what the ladies of Mathura they acknowledge. Gopya tapaskimacharam yadamushya rupam lavanya saramasamordhamananya siddham Drigbi Vibantyanusava Bhinavam Durapam ekanta dham yashasha shriya aishwarasya. They are acknowledging, oh, we don't know what austerities these gopis must have performed. The abode of beauty, ekanta dham yashasha shriya aishwaryasya. Krishna is the only abode of beauty, fame, and opulence. And the gopis, they were drinking Krishna's beauty with their eyes, constantly, regularly. Drigbhi pibantyanusava durapam ekant dham yashasha shriya aishwarasya. Krishna is the abode of Shriya, Yasha, Shriya, and Aishwarya, fame, beauty, and opulence. That is the beauty of Krishna. You know, Krishnanga lavanyapur madhur hoite sumadhur tate ei mukha sudhakar. Madhur hoite sumadhur taha hoite sumadhur tate ei mukha jyotsna bhar. Krishna's body is a city of beauty. And of all the beautiful things in the body of Krishna, the face of Krishna is most beautiful. Even in the face of Krishna, the beautiful smile, enchanting smile of Krishna is uncomparable, incomparable. you know. So Krishna's body is a city of beauty. So the gopis are saying, we have seen the pinnacle of beauty. What is the use of seeing any other thing in this world? You know, the object of our love, the cause of our life. Krishna is non-different from that. You know why? Because Krishna is everything for us. Then the gopis, they think, but why should we criticize the creator? You know. And then they say, alas, actually, creator is not at fault. We have given everything to Krishna and Krishna is indifferent to us. He is going to Mathura and he is just completely indifferent. In a second, he has forgotten all of us. You know, why should we criticize the creator? Krishna is eager to make new lovers. So what is the fault of creator? He has decided to go to Mathura and he is not even going to come back. Even if we cry, even if we give our life, Krishna is not going to come back. So what is the fault of creator in this? You know, we have given up everything. We have given up our family, husbands, brothers, sisters, relatives, everything. And he is giving us up. He's going away. Why? Because he wants some new lovers. That's how gopis are lamenting. So they say, in this life we have achieved nothing because we have given up our husbands and Krishna has given us up. So in this life we have lost everything, and in the next life also we have lost everything because we have not followed the principles of dharma. We have defied our husbands, so we are completely doomed. And in the 5 verses they are speaking in envy. They are telling, we are lamenting here, we'll be separated from Krishna, but next morning, the dawn of the next morning, that will bring the greatest joy for the women of Mathura. They will get to see the most beautiful creation in the entire universe, in the entire creation. They'll be able to drink the nectar which is emanating from the Krishna's face. Yasyananam makara kundala charu karna bhrajat kapola subhaga savilas hasam nityotsavam na tatripur drishbhi pibantyo naryo narasya mudita kupita nimesha. Krishna, his face is beautifully decorated with shark-shaped earrings having locks of hair on his cheeks, on his forehead. He has a beautiful smile on his face. Looking at the beauty of Krishna is a constant festival. Krishna, just by his beauty, he would spread a news of his beauty, just like a hunter comes and spreads a news and puts some bait, all the birds get trapped. कृष्ण जी ने पद्म चांद पाती आछे मुख फांद ताते अधर मधु स्मित चार ब्रज नारी आसी आसी फांदे पड़े होए दासी छाड़ी लाजपति घर द्वार. So Kaviraj Goswami is saying beautifully, after conquering the beauty of the moon and the lotus, now Krishna has spread the news of his beauty and he has put a bait. Tate adhar madhu smita char. The smile of Krishna's face is the bait. What is happening? Brajanari yasi yasi phande pade hoye dasi, and all the Brajvasis, all the gopis, Brajanari, they come running. Pati sutan vayad bhratra bandavad ati vilangyate jaschutagata. Giving up everything, they have come and they have become trapped. So the gopis are saying, so far we were so very fortunate, and from tomorrow onwards, Mathura ladies, they will be most fortunate. But someone may say, why are you lamenting so much? Krishna will stay there for a few days and then he'll come back because he loves his parents. He cannot leave his parents. The love of his parents will bring him back. The gopis, they continue. Although Krishna is intelligent and obedient to the orders of his parents, but you know what will happen when he goes to Mathura? The Mathura ladies, with their, Krishna, he will fall under the spell of the honey like words of the women of Mathura. And then why Krishna will remember us, unsophisticated village girls? They are city women. He'll be enchanted by their words, their beauty. He'll never return to Mathura. And then you know what will happen? When all the Dasharha, Bhoja, Andhaka, Vrishni, and all the Satvatas, when they see the beauty of Krishna, they will enjoy. That will be the festival for their eyes. And he is so merciless. He will not even think about us. And this Akrura, and they again turn to Akrura. They say, Akrura, who is doing all this? He is not Akrura, he is a Krura. He is extremely cruel, you know, because he is going to take us, Krishna, away from us. He is not even consoling the residents of Braja. He's just taking Krishna away. He did not even tell Krishna, Yashoda and Nand Maharaj and all the Brajvasis, then I'll bring Krishna back. Don't worry. He did not even tell any of us. And this hard-hearted Krishna, he is already mounted on the chariot. He is not even looking at us. And just see these foolish cowards. They are giving all the bad words. A coward. They don't even understand. Foolishly, they are hurrying behind in another cart. They are following Krishna and going to Mathura thinking that they will have a festival there. Even elders are not saying anything. So Sridama and Sudama and all the cowherd boys, they also went with Krishna, thinking that, oh, they'll enjoy. They'll see festival, they'll see city. So these gopis, they understand. They understood Krishna is not going to come back. And these are foolish people. They are not even telling anything. They are really lamenting. They are saying, today fate is working against us. In this way, they are lamenting. The gopis, they are saying, they are thinking, these cowherd men, they are not realizing they are committing suicide. Krishna will not come back. They will come back alone. And in the separation of Krishna, they will not be able to live. They'll certainly die in his absence. In this way, the gopis, they are lamenting. And then, next morning, As all these things are happening, nobody is saying anything. Now gopis, they think, now we have to do something. So they approach Krishna's chariot. They started thinking. Now they are planning. Let us go and directly approach Krishna. We'll go and we'll stop him. We'll catch hold of his clothes. We'll catch hold of his hand and we'll insist him to get down from the chariot. You know, and we'll tell him that please don't go. Don't bring such. Don't bring upon yourself the sinful reaction of killing so many women. You are murdering all of us if you go away. Then other gopis may say, if we do that, what our parents will say? Our love for Krishna is secret so far. If we openly go and plead with Krishna, they'll come to know. They'll reject us, they'll abandon us. So another gopi said, what can our family members do now? Our lives are already condemned now. Krishna is leaving. What we have nothing to lose. What is the bigger damage which can be done now? We have nothing to lose anyways. And if Krishna stays here, what will happen? We'll go to the forest. Even if our family members, our relatives, they reject us, abandon us, we'll go to the forest with Krishna and we'll stay in the forest as the deities of the forest, presiding demigoddesses of the forest will stay in the forest only. In that way we can fulfill our desires of being with Krishna. What is the problem? Somebody may say, even if the elders, our relatives, they punish us, they lock us up, they don't allow us to go to forest also, then also what is the harm? Because we'll have this you know solace that Krishna is there in the village. And what will happen? Our girlfriends, our friends, who are not imprisoned, what they will do? They will get some mahaprasad of Krishna, some tambul or some remnants of food which Krishna has tasted. They'll give to us, and that will be our greatest joy. But if Krishna is gone, then we are finished. We'll certainly die. That's how they were thinking. And they are thinking, oh, when Krishna brought us in the assembly of Rasa dance, he reciprocated with us so nicely. Completely, he was giving such pleasure to us. And in his association, the whole night passed like moments. Oh, gopis, one gopi is telling to other, oh, gopis, if he goes, how can we surpass this darkness? How can we surpass the distress in his absence? In this way, the gopis, they're remembering the form of the Lord, the beauty of the Lord, how he would go to the forest, and how in the evening time he would return to the forest, he would gaze at all the gopis, how his hair would be covered with dust, he would play his flute. They're remembering all this. And then, as they are, discussing and thinking like this, they saw that chariot is coming and Krishna has already sat on the chariot and chariot started moving. They wanted to go, but they became paralyzed. Their hands, their legs could not move because of the pain of separation. They could not even move. They could not even utter a word. They could not even move a step. You know. And in this way, Shukdev Goswami speaks a wonderful verse. Evam Ruvanam Virahaturabrisham Brajastriya Krishna Vishakta Manasah Visrajya Lajjam Rurudu Sasusuram Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Evam Bruvanam Virahaturabrisham. In this way, speaking like this, all the gopis, they became overwhelmed, agitated by the imminent separation from Krishna. Viraha Atura. Viraha, they were in separation. They understood now it is imminent separation. Brajastriya Krishna Vishakta Manasa. Their minds were completely absorbed in Krishna. They gave up all the fear, all the shame. Visrajjalajjam rurudusma suswaram. Very loudly they started crying out, Govinda, O Damodar, O Madhava. Why they are calling specific words Govinda, Damodar and Madhav? They are telling, Oh Govinda, you are supposed to give pleasure to the senses. You are Govinda. Please don't neglect us. If you don't return, we'll die. You are supposed to give pleasure to our senses. We'll die. Please don't go. Even if you don't take care of us, even if you want to kill us, how can you kill your mother? You know, you're bound by love of your mother tied around your waist, Damodar, a rope. If you don't come day after tomorrow, what will happen? She will die. How can you kill your mother? And actually, you know what you're doing? You're Madhava. You're not our husband. You're not our Lord. You know, Swakir Ras is not there. You are husband of goddess of fortune, and we are just your girlfriends. We don't belong to you. We belong to our husbands. As husband, if you would be our husband, then there would be no fault. Even if you protect us or destroy us, no one would blame you. But you are not our husband. So how can you put us into such difficulty? So that's how they are crying and calling Krishna, O Govinda, O Damodar, Madhav. And as the gopis they cried, Akrura, he performed his morning duties and he started the chariot, started moving. It is described that apparently Yashoda and all the elderly gopis and the gopas and other residents of Vrindavan, they were not crying so much because they had full faith. They sincerely believed that Krishna is going to come back. What is the problem? And Chakravarti Thakur describes a very, very important thing. He says, as Akrura, he was taking Krishna and Balram, he disrespected the gopis. He did not even comfort them, give them any solace by saying, forget gopis. He did not even tell Yashoda. He did not even tell, Oh Mother Yashoda, please excuse me. I am taking your child away. I'll send the child back. I'll bring him back to you personally. He did not console any of the relatives, any of the Brajvasis. And that's why, because of this offense, although Akrura is such a great devotee, he was implicated in the uh, Shamantaka Mani case and he had to go out of Dwarka. So, therefore, it is very, very instructive that even if we have been given a particular service, a bona fide, genuine service, but we cannot be callous to the sentiments of other devotees. In due course of our services, if we offend devotees, then we will have to suffer the consequences. We cannot just whitewash our offenses because we are doing some service. We have to be really careful in dealing with devotees, not offending them. You know, otherwise, we have to suffer the consequences. If even Akrura had to undergo all these trouble of going out of Dwarka, and then so many things happened that we'll discuss. So how much more we have to be careful? We are insignificant, trying to perform some devotional service. So so in our life, devotees play a very, very important role, and we cannot even afford to offend them. Just because I am doing some service, just because I am in a position, no, it is a matta hati aparad. It is a mad elephant offense. We have to be really, really careful not to offend devotees. Otherwise, even if somebody has spent 10, 20, 30, 40 years in devotional service, beautiful garden he has made with flowering, with wonderful flowers, fruits. We may be having such wonderful fruits of devotional service, but if we allow one elephant, mad elephant, to enter this garden, entire garden will be destroyed. So therefore, it is very, very important to be very, very sensitive and attentive in our dealings with devotees. Attentive chanting and attentive dealings. As Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, these two are very, very important to advance in devotional service. You know. So Akrura, because he did not even console Brajvasis, he had to undergo such trouble. Sunanda Maharaj and all the other cowherd men, they followed behind Krishna in their carts, carrying all the gifts. Sitting on the chariot, Krishna, he looked towards the gopis. They were about to give up their life. Krishna saw the life air is rising up. So with his glance, Krishna pacified them as if saying, "Oh, my beloved girls, please do not be sad. After doing my duties in Mathura, I will return to you for sure." Just by his glance, he seemed to say like that. And just having this expectation, gopis, they became little pacified and they started moving because they were paralyzed. They started moving behind the chariot. They moved for some time, followed for some time, and then, they stopped because they were hoping that Krishna would send some instruction. So they stopped, they stood still. So by seeing the lamentation of the gopis, Krishna sent a message. Ayasye iti, I will return. Chakravarti Thakur writes in detail what was the message. You know. So Krishna, he gave that message. I will return quickly, O gopis. Please do not lament. Please understand that just like you are troubled, I am also troubled at heart. I am also suffering the separation as you are suffering. I am going to Mathura and maintaining life. You know how? Just by, with my intelligence, I am licking the nectar of, I am remembering. That is, remembrance is the nectar. What I am remembering? I am remembering the honey of the sweet glances of all of you. And then he said, Krishna continued, he said, if I do not return tomorrow, day after tomorrow, both you and I will not be able to maintain our lives. And, if I live, because if it is in my destiny to live long, you know, to live in separation from you is more uh, troublesome than suffering a million deaths. That was the message Krishna gave. And gopis, when they heard this message, they were little pacified. They stood there just like the paintings in the pictures, stunned. They kept looking at the chariot. The chariot kept going far and far. Only flag was seen. They continued to look at the flag, and then the flag was also gone. Only the dust was rising because of the chariot wheels. They continued to see the dust. They were there till the time the dust did not settle. After that, with a sad heart, they returned. They understood. They knew for sure that Krishna is not going to return. They knew, you know, and their hearts were full of sorrow. And then in this way, they began to spend their lives, their day and nights, remembering the glories of Krishna. That was their sustenance. Remembering Krishna. They began singing the pastimes of the Lord, the various assurances which Lord gave to protect the Brajvasis. They remembered how in the Govardhan Leela, when all the Brajavasis they approached Krishna, Krishna gave them assurance. Tasman masharanam goshtam mannatham mat parigraham gopaye swatma yogena soyam me vratahita. That time Krishna he gave assurance. He was thinking that how can I give up my Brajvasis? They are my family members. They have considered me as their master. You know, therefore I have to protect them. So remembering these words, the gopis they were passing their days, and 46th chapter, Krishna himself says, all these gopis, you know how they are maintaining their lives? Simply because I have promised them that I will return. This promise is making them live because they think that better to die. Why we are living? But then they have this hope. If Krishna returns, then and if he does not see us, how much pain he will be, how much suffering he will undergo. So better live. You know. So that's how they are continuing to live. And therefore, in this way, they went back. And on the other side, the chariot of Krishna and Balram arrived at the bank of Yamuna River. As they arrived on the bank of Yamuna River, Krishna he drank some water and climbed on the chariot and he was sitting along with Balram. So Akrura he asked Krishna and Balram that you please be seated on the chariot. I'll go and do my morning duties and then we'll continue. So he entered the waters of Yamuna, he took bath, and in the waters of Yamuna he was chanting his mantras. Suddenly he saw Krishna and Balram right there in the water. Akrura started thinking, how can Krishna and Balram, who is seated in the chariot, how can they come here? It seems that when I was taking bath, they came from the chariot and they are there inside. So he came out and he saw, no, Krishna Balram is still sitting on the chariot. He was confused. So he started thinking, was the vision, was it an illusion? Just to reconfirm it, he re-entered. And he saw actually this time Anant Shesha, the Lord of the Serpents, he was there with thousands of hoods, thousands of helmets. He was receiving the praises from all the Siddhas, Charanas, Gandharvas, and the demons. Very effulgent form of Ananta Shesh, you know. And then he saw Krishna lying on the bed of Ananta Shesh. And he was completely astonished. Krishna was having the complexion of a dark blue cloud, yellow garments. He had 4 hands, and his eyes, beautiful lotus-like eyes, are described. He had beautiful, very effulgent cheeks, long arms. His ears, his nose, everything is described. Akrura is seeing all this vision. Broad chest, his beautiful bimba fruit-like lips, broad shoulders. He was completely mesmerized. He saw all the weapons, Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma in the personified forms. Krishna was having a very large loins and the hips and very beautiful knees and shanks. His ankles were raised, effulgent. He saw the toenails of Krishna, and from the toenails, effulgence was coming. Therefore, Kapiladev describes in third canto, one should meditate on the toenails of the Lord. When we have darshan of the Lord's deity form, we should meditate on the toenails of the Lord. Sanchintayed bhagavatas charanaravindam vajrankushadhvaj saroruhalanchanadhyam उत्तुङ्गरक्तविलसन्नखचक्रवाल ज्योत्स्नाभिराहत महदृदयान्धकारम् Jyotsna bhirahat mahad. Jyotsna, the effulgence which is coming from the toenails, it can destroy the darkness of the heart. So Akrura is seeing all this. He saw, Krishna was wearing helmets, bracelets, armlets. All the wonderful ornaments was there on the body of Krishna. He was having Kaustubh jewel on his neck, Shankha Chakra Gada Padma. And then he saw the various opulences of the Lord. Lord was worshipped by greatest of the devotees. Nanda, Sunanda, the most intimate associates of the Lord were there. They were the innermost. Surrounding them were Kumaras, Brahma, Rudra, and all the other devatas. Surrounding them were great devotees like Prahlad, Dhruva, and Vasus. So it is described by Chakravarti Thakur. And then Chakravarti Thakur describes that all the direct associates of the Lord, they were in all the 8 directions, most intimate circle. Then behind them were 4 Kumaras and other sages. Behind them were Brahmaji and others. They were on the right side. And on the left side were the Prajapatis headed by Marichi, Atri, Angira, Pulastya, Kratu, Brigu, you know. And then on the above side, Prahlad, Dhruva, and all the other great devotees were there. Not only them, Akrura he saw, not Dhruva, Narada was there, Prahlad and Narada. And then Akrura he saw the personified material and spiritual potencies. He saw 6 spiritual potencies, internal potencies: Shri, Pushti, Gir, Kanti, Kirti, Tushti, Ila, and Urja. They are the 8 spiritual potencies, internal potencies. Then he saw the external potency, Maya, Vidya, and Avidya. He saw the Jiva Shakti also. So Akrura is having darshan of all these, wonderful paraphernalia. So Akrura, after beholding such wonderful form, he was completely ecstatic. His hair standing on end, his tears coming from his eyes. He was not able to speak, his voice choked up. And he bowed his head, and with his choked up voice, he started offering. In this way, the Krura, he beheld this wonderful form of the Lord, and he offered prayers that will continue next time. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shri Krishna Bhagwan ki jai. So there are a few questions. Explain the name Madhav. Yeah, Madhav, it is described that Madhav is the husband of goddess of fortune. So the gopis are telling that, you are Madhav, you are husband of goddess of fortune, you are not our husband. So if we are not your property, if because wife is the property of husband, so husband, whatever he wants, he can do with the wife, and nobody will blame that husband. But we are not your property, so how can you kill us? If you go, you'll kill us. So that's why they are calling Madhava. Why did Krishna never return to Vrindavan? Because he wanted Brajvasis to experience the greater rasa of Vipralamba Bhav. The love in separation is much, much more greater than love in union. That is what Brajvasis they experience. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he came personally. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, for 12 years of his life, he was just experiencing all these symptoms of separation from Krishna, because that is the highest. That's why Krishna orchestrated such wonderful pastimes. And gopis throughout their life, they were just remembering Krishna. Whatever they were doing, every day they were making garland. They were making all the wonderful preparation, hoping that Krishna will come today. Krishna will come today. Today. Every day it was the same. Every day, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, decade after decade, they were doing the same thing, hoping that Krishna will return. They never became frustrated, fed up, oh, Krishna is not going to come. That is the eagerness the gopis had. That is called laulyam. That is called enthusiasm, which gopis are showing by their personal example. And Akrura and all they were not, they were aware that Krishna is not going to return, and they did not want Krishna to return, because they had the association of Krishna after many years. So they wanted Krishna to stay there with them in Dwarka or Mathura. Okay. So we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Are there any other questions? Okay, so thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.